Did you know that failing to run a brand search campaign could cost you thousands in lost revenue? Whether you're trying to dominate the top spot or just protect your brand, this strategy is an absolute must. Stay tuned as I show you exactly how to set up a branded search campaign the right way, unlocking a potential of up to 100x ROAS. Okay, just real quick, why you have to run a branded search campaign, okay? Number one, you need to protect your brand. Competitors can bid on your brand name, potentially stealing your traffic. And a branded search campaign helps you defend your territory against these competitors and keep your customers, of course. Second, you need to dominate the number one spot for your branded keyword. So even if your website ranks number one organically, anyone can come in, bid on your brand name, and steal that number one spot away from you. So it's all about visibility and control. And third is the cost efficiency. There is not a single campaign that you will run on Google that will have a higher ROAS than this campaign. I have worked with clients where I've seen up to 100x ROAS on this campaign, where they spent $1 and get $100 in sales. And this is not just an outlier or an exaggeration. This is actually happening. And it's because people already want to buy from you usually when they look for your brand. The clicks are going to be very cheap because you are the only real option for them to click on when they look for your brand. And they're probably already primed to buying. So now that you know the why and the potential results, let's dive into the how, where I show you exactly step by step how to set up these campaigns. All right, so let me just walk you through the setup step by step within the Google Ads account. I've used ChatGPT here to create an example brand for me that I'm going to use to create the ads, create ad copy, just so you have something to work off of. Obviously, you have to apply your own brand to all of this. Let's get started. So we click on New Campaign. And then what we always do is to create a campaign without goals guidance. Now, it says choose your objective, but the only thing this really does is tailors your experience to the goals and settings that will work best for your campaign. So it locks you in to Google letting decide which features and settings are allowed for your campaign or recommended for your campaign. Maybe if you're a complete beginner and you don't know what to do, you could follow this. But generally, I always recommend creating a campaign without goals guidance. That way you have all features, all settings available, and you can make all the decisions yourself. Now, next we want to select the search campaign, and we want to have one conversion goal, which should usually be purchase. Then select the results you want to get from this campaign, website visits. You put in your website here. This is our example brand. It's called Echo Essence. So let's just Essence. So let's just use that here. Continue. Name your campaign. I usually name this brand search, whichever country you want to advertise in. This can be global. This can be US, right? And anything else relevant. This is just for internal use. Click on continue. Now we get into the campaign setup. Now, here is the bidding setting, which is really, in my opinion, the most important part about this campaign. Is we don't want to go for conversions. We don't want to go for clicks. We want to go for impression share. Now, what this means is that we're bidding on getting the impressions rather than getting a click or getting a conversion, right? It's important when someone searches for your brand that you don't get outbid by a competitor because they put in a higher bid for the click or for the conversion. So when someone searches for your brand Echo Essence, it's not going to be Sustainer Fashion that's showing up, but no, it's actually your brand. So you want to make sure that you get all the impressions for your brand keyword. Usually I go for top or even absolute top of the results page here. So your ad shows up at the very first thing, not at the bottom or at the second spot, but absolute top. And we want to go for 100%, not 1000, 100% impression share. Now, if you want, you can put in a maximum CPC limit. Usually this is traffic that's very warm, people already looking for your brand. So the clicks will always be very, very, very cheap. I have had a client which, for this main keyword, the first 10 clicks were all 1 cent. So we paid 10 cents for 10 clicks, which is insanely cheap. Now, obviously, at some point, Google will start bidding on more outside the box keywords, not just your exact brand name, right? Because now there's no more exact match keywords with Google. But yeah, I would recommend putting in some sort of maximum CPC limit here, but make it a lot higher than what you would go for with your cold traffic, just in case, right? Because this is very likely to convert anyway, whatever it may be, $2, $3, $23, go for that. Customer acquisition, now I would leave this unchecked. I would want Google to bid on anyone who's looking for my brand, not just new customers. Next up, I always exclude these two, Google Search Partners and Display Network. This really just gives Google the option to spend more of your money in places you don't want to spend it. I have had very bad experience with these two options, right? Google Search Partners, these are other websites that are not Google where you might show up. And with Display Network, again, it says like YouTube, but there's a lot of websites that you can show up on where you might not really be relevant, where you don't want to show up. This is for Google search results. Next up, for your location, again, of course, select wherever you want to advertise this in. If you're a UK-based company and you want to advertise in the UK, you would select United Kingdom. Languages, obviously you put your language in here. Audience segments, you don't need to put anything in here. And yeah, that's all for these settings. This you can all kind of leave the same. I usually have my ad schedule for all day, and the campaign starts whenever I launch it, and I usually don't set an end date. For ad rotation, of course, prefer the best performing ads. Next, keywords. So now coming to the keywords. This is probably the second most important part after the bid strategy selection. Here, you want to put your brand-specific keywords. Now, this can be your brand name, but this can also be products that have a trademark name, a specific name, right? So, for example, if you're Apple, then you wouldn't put in just Apple, but you will also put in iPhone and iPad and Mac. These are all your branded keywords. As an example, for this brand, for Eco Essence, which is a sustainable fashion brand that ChatGPT made up for me, put in all the variations of your brand keyword. So Eco Essence with a space, and even typos. Maybe someone spells it like this, Eoc Essence, or someone doesn't really know how to spell essence the right way, and they spell it like this. So put in typos and very close variants, like having a space in between. Put in all of these keywords. Oh, sorry, this is actually, everything I said still applies, but this is actually an AI keyword generation tool, so you can just click skip right here. And now this is where we actually enter the keywords. So in your ad group, right, you can just leave this as ad group 1, or you can call this brand keywords. But what I like to do is put in all these keywords here, however many you may have. And then once you have all your variations, all your typos, all your brand keywords, I put them in there twice. And then I like to wrap them. And you can also use ChatGPT for this if you have a lot and you don't want to do this manually. And I do them once as a phrase match and once as an exact match, just to make sure that we got the best amount of coverage. Okay, like so. And then after you have your keywords in, it's time for you to create your ad. Usually in the display path, I like to put whatever my main keyword is in here as well, right? So it shows up like this, Eco Essence. And then you can put in your headlines. Now I'm just going to quickly copy and paste a couple of headlines here. Again, these should be obviously branded, whatever is most relevant to your brand. And of course, I like to use my keyword placeholder, the syntax. So it will, in here, use the keyword that people find your ad with. So for example, in this case, if someone types in Eco Essence as a keyword because they're looking for my brand, the headline will simply say Eco Essence. Now, if the keyword they typed in is too long to fit these 30 characters, then it will show this one as a default. Okay, and I usually like to pin this to the first position, so people actually see the keyword that they typed in right the first thing. Okay, so yeah, put in all the headlines that you have. I like to put in the maximum amount, just put in all the headlines. that you can. There's 15 total you can put in. The same goes for descriptions. I like to put in 4 descriptions. Now again, I'm just going to copy and paste my ChatGPT descriptions right here. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, there's too many characters. Remove a couple. Shop now is enough. Add your images if they're relevant. Your business name, right? Echo, Essence. Your business logo. Add site links. Here you can add things like your homepage, right? So have a home site link, have a collection site link, have a contact us site link, and just add all the standard ad assets that you would add for any other search ad campaign. Whatever you have. If you have some promotions going on, you can add a promotion, add a discount here. You can add calls, you can add your call outs, right? These are all sorts of things. 15,000 happy customers, top quality materials, whatever it may be. Structured snippets. Now you can put in your collections. So these are the types of products that you're selling. It could be shirts and tote bags and socks, right? And you put that in there too. And yeah, that's pretty much all. After you've put in all the necessary things, click on next. You select your budget. This depends on how much money you want to spend, of course. I generally like my brand search campaigns to never have too little budget, right? So they don't run out of budget one day and then people look for your brand. And because you're out of budget, your ad is not showing. So just make sure you put in a budget big enough that it will never run out of money to spend. So, you know, you can start with $10, $15. That's what I usually do. And if Google tells you, hey, you need to increase your budget, otherwise you're missing out on clicks, then you should increase your budget. Yeah. And that is pretty much all. All right. Yeah, and then you can launch. There's an issue with my ad. Here, let's fix whatever is wrong. Must have forgotten something. It's not working. Keywords and ads. Oh, of course. You may not forget to use this. And now we're good. The value is too long, right? Of course, you cannot have too long headlines and cannot find this entry. Okay, sweet. And that's all. I guess there's still an issue. Nope, now we're good. Publish campaign, and then you can go ahead and publish your campaign. And that's the simple way to set up your brand search campaigns. To recap, there are 2 very important elements. One is your bidding strategy. It's very important that you select target impression share here and set it to 100%. And also select absolute top of the results page. And the second thing are your keywords. Again, your main brand name, of course, that should be your main keyword. And that's probably what's going to be mostly used to find your brand, right? That's what Google will show you ads for. But consider variations of your brand keyword and consider typos, because you do want to show up for those as well. Now, for optimization, it is very important, especially in the beginning, that you monitor your search terms and keywords. Exact and phrase matches don't really exist the way they used to. Now, when you put in a exact match, say of Echo Essence, Google can find a close variant and still bid on it somehow, even though it's not an exact match. So just make sure that you go into your campaign, especially if you see it's been spending a lot, and check for the search terms. Go into the Insights tab, check the search terms, and if there are any search terms that aren't your brand, that aren't directly related, but Google decides, hey, I'm going to bid on this anyway and charge you way more for a click than you should be charged for, make sure you exclude those. Then next, of course, always A/B test your ad copy and your ads. And thirdly, adjust your bids and your budgets regularly. So if you feel like you're missing out on clicks because your maximum CPC bid may be too low, increase it. And of course, if your budget is running out, you're spending all your budget in less than half a day or whatever, Google will usually tell you, hey, you should up your budget. Okay, and that's pretty much all. I hope you found this video helpful. If you do, please consider giving this video a like and subscribing to the channel. Again, I'm always uploading more helpful content. And if you could, leave me a comment, let me know what else you want to see videos about, or if you have any questions about the setup, any confusion, I would like to clear it up. Yeah, and lastly, if you would like to work with me directly, there's a link in the description where you can book a free strategy call. And I also have a free community that anyone can join where we share tips and help each other grow, scale, learn more about Google Ads. So that's all for this video. Until next time, bye-bye.